Welcome back, Mere Mortalites, to another edition of the Mere Mortals podcast. Today, we once again have an effective philosophy episode where it is me, Juan, bringing you some learning, some thoughts, some ideas, some good stuff that's been happening over the month that has been. For me, this is June 2024, and really replaying it. Now, I've talked about it already on the podcast. I enjoy doing this. I already do it. I've been doing it for years in terms of reflecting back on the month that was. And for me, it's just more about putting this together into something that's consumable by a lot more individuals, making it broader from an effective philosophy perspective and actions. So, I enjoy it. If you do too, let me know. Comments, message, subscriptions, whatever it may be. But let's get into it. I've got 9, perhaps 10 little items that we want to talk about. So we'll get into it. First one, mastering the art of calmness. Calm. So that effective philosophy there is cultivating calmness and presence is essential for navigating life's challenges and maintaining the well-being. Quote there, calm mind brings inner strength and self-confidence, so that's very important for good health, from the Dalai Lama. Now, the example there of the art of calmness is right at the start of the month. We unfortunately came around to a memorial service. That's for Karen's mum. We've talked about it on the podcast before. And just finding moments of calm, not just that, but obviously that was called, but the calmness that is needed in, I guess, times when things are very frantic. At least for me personally, I found that there was a sort of imbued calmness during those particular moments for the memorial service. Everything kind of stops and focuses in on one particular thing. There's other aspects of my life where I guess calmness just comes quite naturally. Usually that's for, weirdly, gym training. But in other events, which either made it reflective, so you just reflect on life or what things are happening, that's good from a calm perspective. But the calmness, I guess, that I don't find myself doing very easily is in other, maybe perhaps more daily mundane tasks, maybe other items which just come at you quite rapidly and you just kind of deal with it tactically as opposed to the more calmer, strategic view of it all. In any case, for me, it was, the key call was obviously attending the memorial, but throughout the month of June, I made it really much a habit of writing down every single day, how I reflected from a calm perspective, and if I was at all frantic, why I was frantic. So some of the actions, I guess, on that philosophy there is at least I'm not going to say practicing meditation, but at least the mindfulness, some sort of mindfulness exercise to improve the ability to be calm. And that might just be, like, for myself, reflecting back at the end of a day, or more specifically the next day on the previous day around where I was calm, and probably more importantly, where I wasn't, where I was frantic, and what I could do to actually improve that. The second one that I've got noted down here, speaking clearly, resolve conflicts. Clear and calm communication is key to resolving conflicts and misunderstandings, strengthening relationships. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place, and that's from George Bernard Shaw. So the example from the month was, once again, it was actually on the same day, and perhaps it was of the memorial, and perhaps it was because there was a lot of tension and a lot of action going on. But we had a gigantic miscommunication with me and my partner. It was all about cushions, all about the goddamn cushions. And part of me, there's lots of variables involved here. I'm not going to get into who was right, who was wrong. I was wrong. But the variables around the cushions and the shape and the price and what could be bought and what couldn't be bought. And there was a lot of misunderstanding in what we were talking about. And it wasn't until actually a few days later from the event that, again, I recognized, and in my notes was, if I'd spoken clearly, if I was very clear with my communication right up front on maybe the reasons why I didn't think that was the right cushion or my concerns around the cushion, that would have resolved the conflict right on the spot. There wouldn't have been any doubts or issues at that point. But looking back, and I went, what? Yeah, speaking clearly, very, very, very important piece, very important philosophy to have. Again, clear and calm communication is key, whether it's business, whether it's relationships. And you'll find a lot of my philosophies and learnings here are definitely in the family, in the relationships, close relationships to me, because they are the things that are really important. So, actions, how do you take on this effective philosophy? How do you put it into practice? I would say taking a moment to breathe. My notes here is take a moment to breathe, collect your thoughts before addressing conflicts, ensuring the communication is clear and calm. It's just taking the time, taking the moment. I guess kind of links into the first one around being a bit calmer. whenever I'm put into a position where I need to, I guess, pursue some effort and I'm becoming frantic, yes, I can get things done really quickly, but I also then pivot and tilt towards making a lot of mistakes, and communication certainly is one of them. So that's the case there. The third point that I've got: embracing flexibility, adapt, and thrive. Got to adapt, folks. Flexibility and adaptability allow for better handling of unexpected situations and smoother transitions. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. Albert Einstein. So, where was the example there? Now, I've got this note from the 3rd of June when my daughter really disrupted the day. Now, I did manage to find the balance between the work and family and what was going on, and finding time to play, but more importantly, help her calm down. She's going through the stage where I wouldn't say she's not too, but she's certainly going through some bloody goddamn tantrums. Probably, bring them earlier. If you actually look into it, I think it's, they say, the terrible twos and the tantrums begin at 18 months. Damn, she's about to be 14 months. She's throwing tantrums, some hardcore tantrums. So someone send me a lifeline here. But yeah, just adapting and thriving. The flexibility is so important, whether you're a parent or not, whatever you're tackling. It's rare nowadays that my day goes along and I haven't had to embrace some sort of flexibility, whether it be cut my workout short or do something different, lift lighter weights, not get enough sleep, shift meetings, move meetings, do work, have to move a podcast conversation, whatever it may be. You have to be able to adapt to be able to thrive. Longer the days, at least for me, when that's just so cemented and well regimented that it doesn't need to be like that. If you are in that position, fantastic, wonderful. Continue it if you can and do the things that you need to do. But if you aren't and you perhaps recognize that it's not going to be the same anymore, I think embracing flexibility is going to be just such a key piece. The action that I wrote down as well for myself: regularly assessing my plans and be willing to adjust them as needed, maintaining a flexible approach to daily challenges. And I'd even go to daily obstacles. Just be ready to, you set yourself an obstacle, a challenge, or a target to do something, and embrace the flexibility that perhaps you can't do that, but it is important. Make sure that it's thriving, Don't go and swap it out for doing some more social media because you can't go and do your work or something equivalent. Number 4, cherishing the quality time with family. This is super important. Valuing and prioritizing quality time with family fosters personal satisfaction and happiness. Family is not an important thing. It's everything. Michael J. Fox. Look, one example that just came up like literally yesterday and today. There's a lot of posts I've been seeing on X and Instagram. No, X predominantly, where it's, people asking, what's more important than Bitcoin? What's more important than this? And I found myself commenting all the time, family. Specifically, my note on an example from the month. On June 14th, spent a really fulfilling day with the family, including setting up some sim racing, and enjoying some Indian food, getting them home projects done, and creating those memorable moments together. It is obviously even more so with my daughter, but it is just so critically important that time flows through our hands like sand, and it goes fairly quick. If you don't have a kid, if you perhaps do want a child someday, be prepared for time to just evaporate, right? The days are long, but the years are short, and really just cherishing the quality time with the family, with the moments that you make. And look, some people don't have the option to be with them all the time, right? You might not be a stay-at-home parent. Maybe you have to get external support to be able to do your work or fulfill your duties or, achieve other things. But even with the moments that you do have, cherish them to the maximum. And this has been a consistent learning, consistent call out in a lot of my monthly goals of the last couple of months. And for me, the action is just schedule regular family activities that promote that bonding and creating those memories, right? The lasting memories. For me, as an example, for maybe other parents out there, it's the bath time. The bath time becomes really like sacrilege. If you're gonna impact my time with my daughter during that time, it's gonna have to be good. It's gonna have to be pretty damn urgent and important to do that. And generally, it's between 5 o'clock to around 6:30. That's blocked out. I'm not putting it in my calendar. I hate these people who've been posting about, I put my calendar and I put, time everything down to 10 minutes, 15 minutes to do that. Fuck that. Go do that if you're a parent. I show me that you're doing that as a parent. With the previous point about being flexible, and I'll tell you, you're probably going to be pretty disappointed with trying to do that. But for me, at least, 5 o'clock and 6:30, generally, right, be flexible, is a time when there's a real focus on the family and for myself, my daughter, and making this quality time through that point. Number 5, simplify. Conquer stress, simplify your life. Simplifying routines and reducing tasks help manage stress and avoid feeling overwhelmed. It's not the load that breaks you down, it's the way that you carry it, from Lou Holtz. It's the stress, and one of the call outs I made before was sim racing, right? So earlier through the month, I actually put the sim racing together really quite early, and I was finding that to utilize it was something that I was, one, looking forward to, but two, helped to reduce some of the stress. I guess there's some direct aspects of it. And I kept it pretty simple. A couple of months beforehand, I really wanted to set up, full gear rig setup with the chassis and one game and all this. And in the end, I ended up just simplifying it quite a lot. Steering wheel, pedals, iRacing is a game of choice. Just go do that. Go participate with it. And simplifying that made the stress a lot less prevalent, I guess, or the anxiety of doing it, the setup and whatnot. It's fairly quick to set up. I don't have it permanently set up, and it simplifies it. So the more simple that you can set up things, the better it can be. For me, again, action. Regularly decluttering the schedule by prioritizing essential tasks, eliminating the unnecessary ones. So this is just more removing things as opposed to adding things. I am a hoarder of doing things. I'd like to hoard the ability to go and read 17 different types of books and go and watch 3 videos and do things multiple all at the same time, watching some Formula 1 or something else. Got to declutter the schedule. Again, get rid of putting things at 3-minute intervals in the calendar. I don't have to do that right now, nor am I optimizing for that. So it's just the action there for simplifying life. So the next one here, shared suffering halves the burden. Really important one. Sharing suffering with others can halve the burden and foster a sense of community and support. Shared joy is double the joy. Shared sorrow is half the sorrow. That's a Swedish proverb. Look, once again, the memory of the call out there was the memorial service at the start of the month, and just being there, present, experiencing the loss of someone who I'd known, and being able to share the moment with my loved ones, my parents, my partner, my daughter. It doesn't remove the suffering, but it sure as hell helps you carry that burden. And equally, on the opposite side, and there was a lot of opportunities throughout this month, is that shared joy is double the joy. It's really a considerable difference between the times that I've been single or alone and done really, really cool things, and been together with someone, whether it's my partner, whether it is with family, with people that you care about, people that you love, and then you do something, man, the joy imbued in that is multiplied by levels that you perhaps don't know if you have not experienced it. So shared suffering halves the burden. On the inverse, shared joy is double the joy. And the action really is just opening up, sometimes specifically here, the burden, with trusted friends, trusted friends and family, of the time that you're struggling, at least for myself, right? Because sharing some of that suffering can lead to at least some alleviation of the burden. Another example where this was prevalent yesterday, my daughter was losing it. She was really, really upset, going through a couple of tantrums. We were sort of migrating away from breast milk, and that was hard. And one of the things that I did to try to alleviate some of the suffering that we're dealing with was calling my mum and dad on a Facebook Messenger call out. And it didn't stop her. Usually does. Didn't even stop it this time. But it helped a little bit to just recognize a couple of things. One, at least I've shared it with someone. Two, I'm not unique. My parents would have gone through this with me, and probably I would have been an even bigger shit. So there's that as well. Knowledge that shared suffering halves the burden, right? So that's the key call out there on that one. Next one, mindfulness, the key to a better life. This is it, the key, mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness and finding moments to pause and reflect can enhance overall well-being and presence. Look, I did a phenomenal thing. I went on a long walk That was on the 27th of June. Talked about this with Karen already on the podcast, so I'll keep it brief. Went for a massively long walk over the weeks before that. I'd just been really jam-packed with work, travels, doing things, thinking about things, trying to take action, trying to be effective. And that was one of those moments where I slowed down. I wasn't efficient. I wasn't effective. I just walked. I was semi-injured. Talked about this already on one of my legs. And it was just the allowing that time to be mindful, to just let my mind wander, that all of a sudden formulated this explosion of creativity, of ideas, which kind of continues to this day. I'm not saying that, I'm not going to call out, I think you have to do this every single day, at least. I don't necessarily say that or preach it to myself, but I would say you definitely have to find some mindfulness when you need it. And you know when you need it, right? You feel a bit backed up, you feel a bit locked up, like you're tight, like you need to share, like you need to unwind, like you need to take a holiday. That feeling of, I need to take a holiday, I need to go relax. I think that's the call out. And maybe just slightly before that, you go, find mindfulness, right? Key to a better life, or at least unlocking yourself from the constant that you have. The action, around that was just incorporating more mindful practices, walking, meditating, if that's a thing, swimming in a non-competitive, non-speed related way. Last two I've got here for you. One, consistency is king, fitness and beyond. So maintaining a consistent fitness routine contributes to physical health and mental clarity. Now, success isn't always about greatness. It's about consistency. Consistency, hard work leads to success. Greatness will come. That's from The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Can you smell? So look, throughout June, regular workouts, regular training. It's consistency. It's the ability to just do it in and out, day in, day out, week in, week out, year in, year out. At this point, it's probably been a decade plus for me. It's just consistency and the ability to just do it, to be present in some sort of training, even if it means I sleep a little bit less, but I'm getting it done in the morning and it's, kind of wishy-washy. Still, way better than not having done it at all. And the last one I want to talk about today, the continuous improvement. Never settle. Continuously striving to improve and adapt to new situations lead to a personal growth and better outcomes. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Steve Jobs, very true. Steve, very true. So really never settling, continuing to improve. I redid a book review. The book review that came out previously from mine. Skipping my mind right now which one it was. But I started doing it. I think I was about 15 minutes in. I just stopped it. And I went, you know what? This wasn't that good. I can do better. It felt off, stopped, reconnected, making sure I had all the right things, I lied and whatnot, went again. Way better, right? Way better. Now, could I have put out that particular piece of content and would maybe people have cared? Not really, right? It's not like we get hundreds of thousands of views and listens. No, but at least for me, I went, I need to improve on that. I know I can do better. You can't just settle on mediocrity. And there's a certain level of quality where, are you trying to go from 99% to 99.99%, 99.99999999%? Lots of nines, 100%. No, right? Probably that level of energy is not needed unless someone right now tells me, yes, go make supreme high quality book reviews, and maybe I'll do it. But that's not the case. And so, never settling it to a logical point. For me, really, it's just a regular review, progress of things I'm doing, the important stuff, and seeking ways to improve it. So for you, embrace the challenges, again, obstacles as opportunities for growth. That is all of the key points I want to talk about from my June learnings, the key call-outs, the effective philosophies that make this world goddamn better. Do any of those ring true to you? Interested in hearing more? Do you want me to cut them down in different ways? Obviously, this is going to be coming out during a time when we're not doing our shared conversations with Karen, as he is traveling around the globe, being a globetrotter. Jelly. But for now, we're going to leave it there. Please send through any comments or queries. A boostergram is always a big item that we call out as well as support. You can send through some Satoshis through all the apps out there that participate in that space. And with a message attached, or you can send some streaming sats as well. For now, me Immortalites, I hope you have enjoyed. You're well wherever you are in the world. One out.